Probably a lot of you know we've been having some pretty mild weather, and I got a couple hours, and I'm going to take advantage of the mild weather. Went to get my rod untangled and go out and see what we can do and find a fish. Water looks, for this time of the year, excellent. We've been having a lot of high water, everything else, so we'll see what we can do here. And it'll take me a minute to get things set up, but I think I'm going to just swing this pool just because I like to swing, even though I got an indicator on the end. We often attribute indicator fishing with fishing nymphs, egg patterns, dead drifting. However, a lot of us don't think about the fact that we could use an indicator as a way to control our swing, as in keeping the swing where we want it and a little bit of depth control on the swing. I'm going to take the old trusty carpet fly off. See here if it'll get a nice focus on it. A lot of you might know the legend and the history of the carpet flies. It's not to say I won't probably put it back in and follow through on the pool with it. But hey, first pass through this run, I want to see something aggressive enough to eat a fly on a swing. And there we go. I'm on one of my little brown trout creeks, or little brown trout creeks, one of my creeks here that produce some lake run browns. So as always, if you know where I am, please don't say anything in the comments, because sorry, I will delete it because I don't want to burn a spot, because a lot of us locals here, a lot of people depend on this water as their local fishing, and we don't need to overswarm an area. As you all know, because you got your favorite spots and you'll understand. But anyways, I'm going to use the, since we're fishing a tight slot, I'll use the indicator to keep my fly where I want it. I am going to use a little bit of weight to help control the depth, the indicator to help control the depth and keep it where we want. Almost think about like I'm fishing downriver, fishing off the back of a boat. But still we're using a corner across, and we still will try to cover some water here and see if we can catch a fish. Water coming through here, and I think. Fishing too fast. That fly was just hanging there. I went to adjust the camera and bit it in alone, and I got a grab. Just the fly just dangling. Now I'm by myself. Get the net set up. There we go. See here, so you can see the whole thing. There we go. We got him. Got a fish. All right, let's take a look at this thing. I'll give you a quick look. We'll send him on its way. Not a monster. Not a Lake Ontario tributary monster, but hey, it's the end of January. Any nice brown trout's a great brown trout. See you, sweeties. Good to catch you. Good to meet you. Gonna send her on her way. This ice water, they don't need much recovery time. Whew. Yeah. White zonker. This time of the year, yep. Alright, I'm going to make a fly change. We're definitely getting late in the day, so the swing bite is not getting to be the best, but the water has got a nice heavy moderate stain to it. And when you get in dirty water on brown trout, I always say, you know, muddy water, brown trout, any color is good as long as it's chartreuse. And it's right on the edge where I like to use the white zonker over the chartreuse. I just use a bead-headed. You know, we all know this, a bead-headed woolly bugger with a bunch of crystal flash. It's got bling, and usually I use it in a lot muddier water than this, but I just want to give it a few casts and a try before I finally switch up and do some dead drifting with egg patterns. Because what I found is usually like late morning, early afternoon, this time of the year, we do quite well with these browns working with streamers and swinging, and then late in the day they seem to lose their ambition for chasing stuff and we end up having to go back to a dead drift. But I just want to give it a shot, just more because I don't want to give up this swing yet, and I would like to get another one just swinging before I resort to dead drifting. Okay. Now it's getting later in the afternoon, time to change gears. Run an egg pattern. See if that makes a little bit of a difference. See if there's anything still going to bite. You know, we're getting late in the day and the bite window's closing, so. Going back to the carpet fly. Hey, I know I've asked this question before. For any of you who are familiar with the carpet fly, just put a little comment down there and tell me what you know about it. The local patterns, with a lot of local history. Built by a local individual with a lot of character. have some fun and maybe tell a story about them and in your comments and mention the fly. Let's see if I can pick a fish up with it. A lot of water. Small little creek, but there's a deep little pocket here. This day Alright, I'm going to do a quick little, this is what I'm fishing. You get a lot of you watch my videos to see me in the creeks with this rod. It's a 10.5 foot 6 weight. It's got a nice little switchy handle on it. Able switch click drag reel, which I really like. I've been coming to the point I like more and more the classics. And I got this rod set up with a OPS compact Skagit and a little floating tip. And then I run a long 10-foot leader in these creeks. There's not much you can do with sink tips because they're usually shallow, everything's narrow, everything's tight. But one of the little tricks I've learned in here is use an indicator. I call them drift management devices. And as you saw in the beginning of this, I was swinging under it so I could mend to it. I could keep the fly swinging in a narrow channel, but more importantly, I could get the fly to go up and out of the channel without snagging into the inside edges of the slots. So I could use it to control how my swing goes, either horizontally or vertically, depending on the slots that I'm fishing. And I can use this as basically as a mend check device, and then use a little bit of shot. And like I said, almost like a downrigger, I can have my fly swimming, split shot fly, kind of swimming across, and then I can, with the indicator, I can check it, stall it in the current, and have the fly kind of gradually swing up. When I got that brown, that was what was happening. The fly was just swinging up and just hanging in the depth where I was fiddling around, and it ate. And plus, very often we got to shift between swinging and drifting. It's just a matter of changing a fly and changing my line handling, and I can go back and forth. But yeah, this is basically it. Just my 10.5 foot 6 weight, nice little click drag, OPS line to match, and a floating tip to match. And it's really handy in these tight spots because of the fancy little spay and roll casting you can do. So that's the equipment. Well, I think we worked this pool over pretty good. It's starting to get late in the afternoon, and my objective was to come down here and catch a fish. I caught a fish, and I did it on the swing, a little zonker, so that's pretty cool. I'm happy. So I think I'm going to move on. I don't know if I'll fish another spot or not, but I'm going to kind of explore a little bit. So let's see what we can do. This is Jay at JPEG Guides and Lost River Fishing. We are a year-round fly fishing catch and release guide service. We fish the Lake Ontario tributaries, and then during the spring and the summer we also fish the inland trout streams, classic dry fly fishing. During the heat of the summer we will do the warm water fishing for bass and pike. If you're interested in any of our outings or have any questions, please feel free to email us at fish@lostriversfishing.com. Hope to hear from you, and if you have any questions, feel free to contact us.